welcome to another episode of the Tenerife Pod, sponsored by BGR Solutions. I'm Jenny T, your host, here with Chris, my co-host for today.
Hello, how are you?
Lord Chris, like.
Well, you know, that was a 50th birthday present.
I remember
off my then partner being a lord. I do own land in Scotland, it's true. So
how much land is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's like a square metre or something.
It's
but
enough. That's what you need to know.
I can fit on it, if that's what you mean. I can go and visit it. I can fit on it, and I have a coat of arms. So, which ironically has got what looks like an elk on it, which I think is quite ironic to take into account my surname. So there you go.
That is pretty cool. Maybe you need like a banner on it, like go and put a flag in it. Most hated man in Tenerife.
Do you know? I forgot all about it, and I was like, you know, people after you post it say, "Are you going to use it to get upgrades in hotels or this?" I don't know if it works, but you can actually change your name by default with it, so that you've got the Lord. I know people who have, but believe it or not, Jen, and I know this is going to surprise a lot of people, I'm not actually that pretentious. But there you go.
Okay, we
How's your
believe
weekend
you. Thousands wouldn't. It's been a lovely weekend. I've been in the sun. I feel like I've burnt bits that, you know, you forget to slap sun cream on, then you sting in the shower. It's been one of those kind of weekends. Family weekend, family, friends, lovely. You?
Good. Yep, nice and cool. All good. Before we get into the pod, I just wanted to address something, and obviously today's the one that people have been waiting for.
Yeah.
Which is obviously following Lars from Weddings in Tenerife being in. We've got 3 people representing 3 of the couples today. There are still comments going on saying Canarian Weekly is still earning money off this story. And I just want to clarify that we're not.
Okay.
All right? Because we only have one thing monetized, which is the Canarian Weekly website. All right? We don't earn any money off TikTok. Nobody does in Spain. You don't earn money off TikTok in Spain. We don't earn any money. Our YouTube on Oasis FM is not monetized. We don't have enough followers and we don't have enough viewing hours. We don't meet the requirements because it's a new channel. This is a new thing. So that's not monetized. And anybody who does anything on social media to get income will know that it's pennies, cents. Ironically, which I said instead of funnily, ironically, the did publishing anything is on the Canarian Weekly, which is the only place that we actually earn income. So just to the people who keep saying Canarian Weekly are earning off this, or we're not. All right, so I just wanted to clarify that point.
Yeah, I think it's an important point because this whole pod started because it was for people that love Tenerife, that live in Tenerife, and we're here to inform people of what's happening in Tenerife. It was literally just something that we're passionate about, and and to be fun. And obviously there's been some serious issues come out of it, like this one.
Yep.
So I know you just mentioned we've got a few couples coming to join us today. We mentioned it on the last pod because there was a few couples that contacted you after we put this post
I spoke
out.
to over a dozen, yeah.
And I know you've already kind of touched on this on the last one, but since this is the pod, can you say what the reason is that these 3 couples have been chosen today?
Well, partly because several of the others, after talking to them, after Lars had actually been on the pod, backed out. All right, because most of them wanted someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And obviously after talking to them and looking at their situation, looking at whether wedding was going ahead, whether it not, when it was, most of the people whose weddings were around the corner just wanted to concentrate on what they're doing. But these 3 we have here are very, very different. We have one bride coming in, we have one groom coming in who both live in England, and then the third person who lives here on the island. So these 3 are very, very different stories and are very relevant to what we've been talking about leading up to this, and also what we spoke about with Weddings in Tenerife when Lars came in.
Well, yeah, thank you. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for them to have their say, like you said, like get out what they want and let us know what they want to ask Claire and Lars as well. So our first person that we're going to speak to is Julie, who is going to be on WhatsApp.
Yes.
So let's get into this. So we have Julie on the line on WhatsApp at the moment, who is one of the brides-to-be that's been affected by the Weddings in Tenerife insolvency. Hello, Julie. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for joining us today. Where are you? Where are we calling you from? Where are you at the moment?
So I'm in Hornchurch, Essex, in England.
Okay. Well, how's the weather there?
Terrible.
Oh dear. Sorry to hear that, Julie. Well, I think what we would like to do first of all, and what so many people would like to do, is just you tell us your story. Basically, tell us how this has affected you and what's happened. What's your story?
Well, we met Claire in September 2024 and decided to go with her as our wedding planner. We've met her numerous times. We trusted her, so we have paid out just over €24,000.
Wow.
And we had just over 4,000 left to pay. That would have been our last payment this month. And we got the email a couple of weeks ago, the same as everybody else. And are kind of we were in limbo, just not really knowing what to do, what our next steps were.
Well, just quickly, Julie, when I spoke to you, you were actually here in Tenerife. And when you got that email, I mean, obviously we can understand or we can appreciate the legal situation you find yourself in. We don't know the emotional stress or the pressure. Can you explain that to us? How did you feel when you got it?
I just broke down. As soon as I saw the email, I went into panic. I broke down because it was just seeing those words. They couldn't do anything else to do with weddings. It was just that initial everything.
And when's your wedding? When was your wedding supposed to be taking place?
The 1st of September this year.
Okay, and that was at the Plantación, is that right? The Plantación del Sur.
It is, yeah.
And why did you choose that place, and why did you choose Tenerife?
We love Tenerife. We always come over to Tenerife sort of 4 or 5 times a year. Mm-hmm. So to us, when we decided to get married, we thought let's do it abroad. Let's do it there, where the place that we love. And we found Claire, and she showed us quite a few places. Actually, that was the first place she showed us, and we turned it down.
Oh, really?
And then we ended up going back.
Why was that? Intrigued about that.
I have no idea, because it's absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. But yeah, that's the one we chose in the end.
So you've chosen the hotel, you're getting all excited. Obviously, the 1st of September, it's not that far away. You get that email. Obviously, there's a lot of emotions, but then how do you then try and work out your next steps from there? Tell us what your thought process was, you and your partner.
Well, to be honest, my partner took it on because I was just distraught, and he's very good at just getting the job done, basically. So he contacted the hotel. We both tried to make contact with Claire, but obviously there was nothing there. And so after he'd spoken to the hotel, we agreed to have a meeting with them when we was going out there the week after.
Yeah, because that was you were here last week, weren't you?
Yeah.
Now, were you coming over anyway?
Coming out there.
You were coming out anyway?
Yes.
And what was that to do?
Well, we was coming out for a week anyway, just to have a little look at stuff. But also we were going to meet up with Claire because she'd agreed to store some of our stuff, like our wedding favours, at the office.
Yeah.
So we were going to do all of that. And then, we came out and had a meeting with the hotel when we got there.
And how have they been?
They're amazing. They have been amazing.
So your wedding is still going ahead?
We are still going ahead,
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. That's really obviously good to hear.
Yes.
And you say the hotel have been really good with you on getting that sorted, yeah?
Yeah, they've been amazing, and they're easy to contact if I need any help. It's been... I mean, it's stressful. It's very stressful. Emotions are running very high at the moment. But we will get it done.
It seems from everyone I've spoken to that is the main. I mean, obviously the money's one thing. Let's not disregard the money. The financial side of this is obviously of top priority. But it seems that the emotional stress and probably the lack of contact is something, because I think you said to me, didn't you spend New Year with them or something?
We went to the restaurant that Lars has, and we spent New Year there, the one that just gone. I don't know. We've known Claire for nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you feel like you're that closely connected to somebody, obviously you've put your trust of having your wedding in their hands. But
biggest day of your life, yeah.
To feel like that, perhaps you have that connection, that close friendship, to then not only this happen and you have no idea, but then not to be able to contact that. I think the emotional stress of that has to has to be up there with losing the money, like that distrust. And
Well, more so. I don't know if I'm talking out of turn here, Julie, but I gathered it. I'm talking to most. I've only spoken to a dozen people, not obviously 40 odd. But that did seem to be the running theme through it. It was the feeling of being left in the lurch, the feeling of being let down, the feeling of being just disregarded and dropped. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's huge, because it was kind of like, I mean, we'd spoken to Claire on message, arranging to meet up and hand her stuff for our wedding.
Yeah.
Everything's all been fine, sailing along fine. So to get that email, and then there's no contact, there's nothing at all. You can't. It was devastating.
Sure. Now, from a financial point of view, you said that you'd paid 24,000 so far. I believe that have charged back some of that from Wix. Obviously, you haven't received the money yet, but you've had something off them to say you will receive it back. Is that correct?
Yeah, so luckily, when we paid some of it, not all of it, but we paid some of it on a credit card.
Yeah.
So we are able to claim some of that back. We are lucky in that sense, because I know there's a lot of people that haven't been able to do that.
Well, they will get the chance.
Still,
Obviously, they'll get the chance, and you will for the balance when the bankruptcy proceedings start to take place. But you should get this amount back beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we're not going to be able to have the wedding that we originally wanted, because we've already paid for that wedding and that money's gone.
Sure.
So that wedding's gone. But we are just now trying to scramble around. We've got less than 3 months to try and scramble around on a limited budget and just make it as best we can, because that's what we want. We want to get married on the 1st of September.
So does that mean you're saying it's not going to be your dream day, but it's going to be a day that you are going to cherish and enjoy and look forward to?
Oh, I'm definitely going to cherish it. And maybe it will be our dream day, because everybody around us, like all our family and friends, are pitching in and helping us. So, making stuff. And so, yeah, maybe it will be even more special.
How you've spoken, obviously, to far more of the other couples than I have. And you said to me on the phone that you're not usually someone to speak up, but you felt very strongly about this. Tell us about some of the feelings or stories you've had from other people, because I know you said I know this sounds a crazy thing to say, you regard yourself as one of the lucky ones almost, because your wedding's still going ahead and you're able to charge most of the money back through the credit card, because there are some really harsh, terrible stories out there, aren't there?
There are some really horrible stories, and I know some people have been criticised for the way they've paid for their weddings.
Sure.
Maybe whether it is through bank transfer or cash.
Yeah.
But when we were dealing with Weddings in Tenerife, we was right from the day one. We were always told, pay how you like. We don't mind, pay how you like. So if somebody's saying that to you, and that's the way you've got the money, you're going to do that, trust in them.
Especially when they've got the legacy of the 15 years and the reviews and why, like you say, you've got no reason not to really trust them. Have you been back through messages now, knowing what you know? Have you gone back through messages and noticed a shift, or was there literally nothing that could have any indication that anything was maybe not quite right?
No, see, do you know what? That's a massive thing for me, because I've always said if they would have known this was coming, how has nothing been said? Just give us a heads up. Stop taking on new bookings, deal with honor the ones that you've already got, and just let us know that something's happening. Bear with me. I'll keep you in the loop. Anything like that. I didn't see any shift in the messages with Claire in the past few months.
Wow. If you could ask them one question face to face, if you got one question face to face, you could ask them, what would it be?
Where's the money?
That's the one thing you want to know.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, that will be on this podcast.
Yeah.
People will see that you're asking that question, and we will ask that question for you as well.
Yeah.
Not that we've got regular contact as anyone else, but obviously we have been in contact. So we will ask the question as well, and hopefully we will get a reply for you. How are the emotions now that you're starting to get somewhere, and obviously getting, 3 months away now till the big day?
I know.
Now you've been back out and managed to, if you like, calm the storm. How is it? How is it now? And has it put you off Tenerife?
No, nothing will put me off Tenerife.
Oh,
I love
that's good to
Tenerife.
know.
Yeah, we have amazing times in Tenerife, and also like I felt sorry for other wedding planners, because I know that I've seen other wedding planners panicking and people saying they don't want to get married in Tenerife now because it's tarnished that
Sure.
name a little bit. And so I kind of want to get out there and say, no, do it, because there's some amazing people out there that are ready to help and guide you in the correct way. So yeah, I hope people don't get put off by getting married in Tenerife.
I think, do you know, can I just say, from such an awful situation, and obviously I think the reason we're doing this is to get this personal aspect of it, because it's easy to look at this thing as a whole. I'm so impressed with your positive outlook and the fact that I'm sure you've had a moment where you go, should we cancel? Should we wait and save and do our dream day?
Yes, many times.
And I think to do this, still be doing it, and still going, well, it might still be our dream day. Like, you maybe because you just never know. Maybe things happen for a reason. Not that I think you could spin this in a positive way, but you managed. I feel like you've managed to, and I just think hats off to you. Like, I think that's quite impressive. And to say that it wouldn't put you off Tenerife, and to still encourage other couples to choose Tenerife as their wedding destination.
Yeah.
I just think fair play to you.
Will you send us a picture after the day?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Not of me, my other half. I don't know what picture taken.
Well, that's not good news for a wedding day, to be honest, Julie. I'm pretty sure you have to be in a couple of the photos at least.
Oh, I'll do my best. Maybe one.
Well, we hope you have the best day, Julie. Thank you so much for taking your time and joining us on the pod. We wish you all the best and good luck with married life. And we hope to see you back in Tenerife, often celebrating anniversaries for years and years to come.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Thank
thank you
you
very much, and thank you for having me on.
No, thank you so much. Bye, Julie.
Thank you. Bye.
Wow. It just goes to show, doesn't it, Jen? I think it was very poignant what you said there about her positivity.
I'm really impressed. I honestly, not knowing really what to expect today from the couples. Are they going to come in angry? I know there's been comments on...
Well, I've spoken to them, you haven't, so I appreciate where you're coming from.
But not that I thought Julie would be angry. I haven't had any dealings with,
Sure.
but I was expecting maybe not anger with us, but more anger at the situation.
Sure.
And it feels almost like...
Don't worry, that's to come.
Not okay. Well, not that she's over it, but...
That is to come next with Charlie.
I just feel like she's thinking the only way we can move forward is to stay positive and look at what we are going to get and not what we're losing. And I think that's a really, really, really positive way to be. So thanks, Julie. So we do have a groom in next, am I right?
Here in the studio.
Charlie is on the way. So we're here now with one of the grooms that have been affected by this Weddings in Tenerife scenario, Charlie Conran, and his bride Alex, who isn't here today, but we have Charlie. Welcome, Charlie. Thank you for coming in today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So you're not from here, you're from the UK.
I am, yep.
And you have chosen Tenerife to have your wedding in.
That's it, yep.
Why did you choose Tenerife?
We had friends who got married over here before.
Okay. And they got married with Weddings in Tenerife.
And we've also got friends who live over here. Sorry.
We've
also got friends who live over here. And we spend quite a bit of time over here. Love the island, so I thought, why not? Let's get
When
married.
did you first come here? When did you first come here?
I suppose I come here a couple of times when I was a kid, but now I come here, say, 3 to 4 times a year.
Oh, wow. So you're regular.
Yeah.
Right. Well, not one of those ones that tried to make the move and just live here.
No.
Not yet.
No, I don't think there's much... need for roofers in Tenerife at the minute, so
not too much issue with rain or anything damaging roofs.
Yeah.
So obviously you are one of the couples that have been affected quite badly by this situation.
Yep.
I just want you to have your say, really. Can you take us back to the start? Like what's happened in your own words?
So we booked with Claire. We met up with her last January at first, and eventually finally booked in, I think it might have been March. She gave us like a payment schedule, which we've been sticking to, meetings. So we've flown out here a few times. I've probably met her 3 or 4 times, her and Lars over here. And then, we've got up to giving them 26,000, and then they blew the whistle on it, as we know, that Friday. I think it was the 22nd of May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's more to address with it. Lars was in last Monday's podcast.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when, obviously, because you've perhaps not been able to get hold of them since everything's happened? What were your thoughts when you see that he's
Well, I thought they'd fled, which was addressed and he said, I've not fled, I'm still here.
Sure.
I flew out on so we got the email on the Friday.
For the record, we didn't expect them to contact us and to come in either.
Yeah. So, we saw that.
But you jumped on a plane, didn't you?
I jumped on a plane on the Saturday morning after finding out on the Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So I flew out Saturday morning. I drove all around the island. I drove to all their businesses. I made loads of attempts to contact them, got nothing back. But the main reason for that was obviously it was touched on in Lars's podcast about the €6,000 we gave them in cash 2 days before.
All right, well, before we come to that, let's just go back on the timeline, because your wedding's booked for, I think, 17th of October,
That's
isn't it?
Yeah, 17th
and
of October.
We've just spoke to Julie. It's the Plantacion del Sur. I think yours is at the same place, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And she said the hotel have been really helpful. Have you found the same?
Yep, lovely lady, works there, in-house event manager. So.
But you've also bought another wedding planner, haven't you?
No, the in-house event manager is the wedding planner. Yeah.
Another celebrant.
We've bought a celebrant in, who's doing that. But in terms of the actual planning at the hotel, it's a lady who works for the hotel and deals with it all in-house.
Now, you obviously sent me copies of all receipts.
Yep.
And I think your actual quote, including tax, was close to 30 odd grand.
Yeah, 34,000.
And as you said, you paid nearly 20 initially, which you got receipts for.
Yep.
Now, you said you had a payment plan.
Yeah.
How did that work? Just because nobody's touched on that yet. Lars tried to, so just approximately.
So
he said there was like a deposit, then 5 payments. How does it work?
So, here, I've changed the payment plan to 4 payments instead of 5, starting the 3rd of August. This is a procedure for paying all of the sub-suppliers their initial deposits as soon as possible to lock them in.
Okay.
As it's inconvenient for you, I've changed the payment plan accordingly and informed the suppliers.
Okay.
Now, it's come to light, 0 suppliers have been paid.
Okay.
Not just me, this is every wedding, every
Right.
bride. I actually took the liberty of making a spreadsheet of the brides that have allowed us to share their information, which is 27 of the 45 or so affected.
Roughly, I think
Approximately.
I know Lars said it was like 41 or 42.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
Everyone's within the same figure, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's
so
around there.
we've done the homework, we've looked at everyone's quotes and everyone's spoken to their hotels. One email included a supply list, and that was a bride who got married on the 26th, and that was the only email that was different to the other emails that were sent out. That one did include a list of suppliers.
Right, okay.
But they hadn't been paid.
Right.
So that was just a courtesy. I guess they felt bad about the fact they was getting married in a couple of days and sent an email out with the suppliers on it.
Okay.
Now, all of the other emails didn't include any suppliers.
Right.
So we know that no suppliers have been
So
paid.
the other emails were basically the standard one of saying they were intending to start
That's it, yeah.
insolvency proceedings, correct?
Yep.
Because obviously one of the things people are saying, Jen, is that it wasn't from a lawyer, which it wasn't.
Right,
It was an email from them informing people they were intending to go into insolvency. Now, since then, which I said on the pod, which is true, I've seen the paperwork to say that has been applied for and accepted by the courts.
Okay.
Which is why they had to stop trading.
Yeah.
But tell us about this spreadsheet. What's on it?
What's on it is all of the brides. I mean, we all know about the big WhatsApp group.
Explain that WhatsApp group, because obviously everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Did it go mental? I mean, how did it start? How did you all find each other?
each other, which I will actually touch back on. It was briefly touched about the younger brides that are doing the stuff on TikTok and online and media. Now that wasn't for anything else but to reach out to other brides, and through that we found another.
By the way, we weren't trying to say
10
they
or
were,
15.
We weren't trying to say they were doing it for financial gain. By the way,
yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's just another one. So the stories that have gone to the media by some of the other girls, none of them have been sold. That's all.
No, fair enough.
That's all there.
Absolutely.
And I didn't do anything media-wise. I'm here because when I saw Lars pop up on the podcast last week, I was infuriated by it and with the lies. So I wanted to come and address that. But the spreadsheet I've got here is 27 of the brides that have allowed us to share their information. I'm not going to go through names, but I've got all of the dates of their weddings and the amount they've paid.
And when are those weddings from till? So they're starting in
26th of May, which was
of this year,
a couple of days after,
up until
the 7th of October.
2028. So it's 2.5 years away.
And even the lady getting married on the 7th of October,
Yep.
2028, has paid €5,000.
Right, okay.
Yeah. The venue hasn't been paid, the deposit hasn't been paid.
Okay.
So venues' deposits only have been paid up until the end of 2026. Once you get into 2027, the venues haven't been made aware of it.
Okay.
2028, no venues. No suppliers from the first one have been paid at all. This is the 20.
I can see that column's
27
completely
we've got.
blank. Yeah.
So the amount paid, and this is as I say, the ones that 27
forward,
of the
yeah.
45. You've got 276,000 euros has been paid.
Yep.
15,600 euros
So there's quite a
has been
discrepancy
paid
there.
out. 260,520 to
Yep.
be precise. So I know that when Lars came on, we've simply run out of money.
Yep.
Now, but I'm looking at this and I'm just wondering how, as a wedding planner, surely the job is to. You put your profit margin on top, you pay your suppliers, your profit margin is your earnings. And if you've got 45 future weddings that have paid you that amount of money and you've run out of money...
Well, that's not 45, is it? That's only...
That's 27. And believe me,
So it
there
could be
are
almost
a
double.
couple... Yeah, I would...
Maybe
I mean,
400.
We can't speculate,
Yeah.
maybe more, because a couple of the brides who don't wish their information shared have spent an awful lot more than
Sure.
some of them on
And
here.
also, some of them are in the future and just don't want to get involved.
Exactly,
I found
yeah.
that from talking to some
Yeah, yeah. So we've got that. So, I mean, the question is...
Well, just quickly, Lars has said on here
Yeah.
that there was about 85,000 in chargebacks and probably another 300 to 350 that will be claimed for through the bank.
Okay.
So that puts you at somewhere between 400 and 435,000.
Right.
So working on the percentage of brides that you've spoken to, that would be within the ballpark of the right figure, wouldn't it?
Yes, perhaps, yeah, but I believe that when I see it.
But that's not the question,
No,
is it?
no,
The question
no.
is, where is it?
Yes, exactly, yeah. If it's still there, why have they gone bankrupt? The money's still there for all these people to get married. I just don't understand it. And yeah, I mean, even at the end of it, to say, what are you going to do from here? And he sat there and said, we're just going to relax for a little while. And then, there's people here that have spent their life savings on getting married. We can't relax for a little while. Some of them have still got to go ahead with a wedding. I've got to pull up another 30 grand within 3 months to still get married.
How did you feel, and how your partner, how did she feel when you received this email?
Oh, she was gutted, yeah. So she's, I was just there on the sofa watching the and just heard a scream from across the room. I'm like, what? And she's gone, look at this. And I've had to read the email, and then I'm just sitting there scratching my head for a little while for it to sink in.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I'm going out there. So I booked a flight and flew out the next day. And like I say,
And you've just come back out again now?
I've just come back out again now to talk to you guys, yeah.
Let's talk about this 6,000, because this 6,000, there seems to be some, I'm not going to say discrepancy,
No.
but obviously Lars is saying one thing
Well, he's coming
against what obviously you said. So tell us exactly from your point of view how that money was paid.
So, on the...
Well, not from your point of view. How did
No.
you pay it?
Yeah.
Monday
Beg your
the
pardon.
11th. Hi guys, I hope you're well. Can you let me know when so-and-so and so-and-so are over so I can collect the money from them?
So this is a message from Weddings in Tenerife?
Yep, on
From
Monday the
Claire, yeah,
11th
or
of
Lars?
May. And now if we bear in mind that Lars said they knew that this was going to happen 2 weeks before. So this is a timeline of the 2 weeks. Now this is them relentlessly chasing, not just me, everyone for their final payments.
Right.
Which I find quite suspect in itself. If you know you're going to go bust in 2 weeks, they've spent that 2 weeks actively chasing people's final payments.
Sure.
Payments being made. Then you've got the proof of...
Are these messages just from you, or are these messages from other, these are other
some
people?
of them from me, some of them are other people.
Okay.
18th of May, organising, again, this is with my partner to meet the cash, asking for Nancy's number.
So hang on, so if that's on the Friday, that's the Monday before or the Tuesday before, yeah?
Yep, that's it. And
Okay.
then she has 6,000 to give you. Thumbs up emoji, buy Weddings in Tenerife.
Now, just quickly, let's just go back to that 6,000.
Yep.
Because you said to me you paid that 6,000 in cash.
Yes.
How did you pay it? I mean, because you weren't here.
No, so Alex's maid of honour,
Yep.
one of our best friends, she was here on holiday.
Yep.
So before she went, do us a favour, can you go and meet Claire and give her 6 grand?
There's got to be one question.
Yeah, why did you feel that why wouldn't you do that via bank transfer or something? Why did you feel like
Because
someone
when you
needed to meet
when you
them?
send via the bank, you get charged a ridiculous amount of conversion fees.
True.
And
Okay.
IBAN fees, etc. And it just makes sense to pay in cash. So I'd rather order it and save, say, 600 quid on conversion fees.
Yeah.
And if someone's flying out, go and give it to them. So I've done the same thing when I'd come out there. So I've paid 18 grand in cash in total. And I've
Oh,
But,
wow,
but it was
okay.
invoiced.
Yes. So
You had invoiced for
everything
it.
else was invoiced up until this last 6,000, which did
But
now.
also, not without talking out of turn, Charlie, when I asked you that question on the phone, you actually quite honestly said you had no reason to distrust them.
Absolutely not. Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, we've had friends who got married with them before. She's won awards for wedding planning, I believe. So yeah, I had no reason not to trust them, and I'd have a working class conversation when I met them, over giving them cash. Nobody minded, and it does state on their website, cash is a form of payment. So it says
Yep.
you can pay by the website, bank transfer, or by cash. I chose to pay in cash. Why not? I was being invoiced. I had no reason that this 6,000 was going to be
If
stolen.
you're going to save costs, yeah.
Yeah, so I had no
When-
reason to...
Sorry, when you didn't get an invoice, was that like a red flag or?
No, because when we gave them cash before, I met them at their restaurant and gave them £9,000 in cash previously, and they invoiced me 2 weeks later.
Right.
Like I say, no reason to suspect anything. And then I give them that, and then there's proof here. Hi Nancy, good morning. It's Claire. I'll see you at 11. Morning, here's the address. Hi Nancy, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. Can we meet outside the apartment?
Nancy's your maid of honour, is that right?
Yeah, that's it. And then, hi Nancy, Claire is outside, voice call. So she's rung her when she's outside. Nancy's gone outside, given them the cash. She's given her a big cuddle, can't wait till October. And then Nancy's come back into the hotel. Now the hotel have got CCTV of her coming out with the money and going back in with the money. So the fact Lars has come here and denied
Have you asked
cash.
the hotel for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And obviously, so I've got the WhatsApp proof, and we're going to have CCTV from the hotel.
Where do you think you'll stand with that, like legally? Do you think that would be enough?
Well,
sorry to
they've
use
committed
the air quote.
in this instance in general, they've committed theft. So as far as I'm concerned,
so from a legal perspective, you'd have two claims.
Yeah,
You'd have one through the bankruptcy proceedings because everything's invoiced.
Yep.
The same as everyone else.
Yep.
And then you'd have a separate one
of theft of this €6,000, which they're denying they took and haven't invoiced us for. And there's a lot of proof that
which is really shit.
They did, very, very.
Yeah.
So that's obviously what infuriated me the most and made me fly out here. And I come out with all intentions of firing them, like relentlessly messaging them. I was outside their offices, outside the bar.
Did you get any information?
Did you
find anything?
Nothing at all. I was asking the bars next door, have you seen anyone? When I went to the office, I was asking the shop next door. The only thing I didn't do was go to their home address. But then I ended up staying for 3 days. They made no attempt to contact me. And now he's denying that they took any cash off us. And if you can imagine, the maid of honour, she now feels awful because she's half been accused of stealing that money, if you like, or lying. Yeah. And we
I didn't even think of that side of things. Bless her.
We obviously know full well that isn't the case.
Yeah.
And we know that money was handed over. But the fact that he's denying it is theft as far as I'm concerned. So there's still opportunity to bring that back, and then we can keep it with the legal side of it, where it's gone bankrupt, which I've already got with Spanish lawyers who are based over here, going through the proceeds. But this 6,000 at the minute has been stolen, and that's a completely different case in general.
Oh yeah, because nobody wants to feel like they've been mugged off.
No, exactly.
And I guess as well that, the bankruptcy and what's happening is one thing, but that is something completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
Do you think this is what maybe like affected you more than the actual like wedding company going bankrupt? That this 6,000, or do you think it's just a mixture of it all?
Just purely the fact that they denied taking it, for one, and I haven't even got an invoice to go, like, if I was to make a claim or get any money back, which I don't believe we will. I believe, like I've said before, we've already touched on it, the amount of money that's there, I can't understand where it's gone. If your job is to pay suppliers as you're being paid by the clients, but no suppliers have been paid, where is the money? There's, just on this bit of paper, €260,000. Like we've already touched on, there's a lot more than that out there, but no suppliers have been paid. How have you gone bankrupt? Where's the money gone? These are the questions that we want answering. So I know you touched on your last podcast saying the questions have changed. They haven't really. They have a bit because we've seen it
from others.
From others. So our question is, me and on behalf of all the other brides and grooms affected, is what's happened to our money? Where's it gone?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you take obviously the people on your list, they're the ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because like you, you've spoken to more than me. I've spoken to just over a dozen. And as I say, about half of them were like, their weddings were in the future and just were like, we don't want to get involved.
Yeah.
And we got the cases back to people as well, which was obviously a good thing for them. If you've got one question, well, you've got more than one question, haven't you?
One of them, where the fuck's my money?
Yeah. On both accounts.
Yeah, on both accounts, yes. Sorry, excuse my French.
That's right. You can swear.
Let it out.
You can swear. Don't worry.
Where is everyone else's money? Just where's it gone? They're the answers we need. Are we going to get it back? I don't think we are. I think the money's been put aside with no accusations, but I just don't understand where that amount of money can go if your job is to pay for my wedding with the money that I'm paying you for. You have a profit margin on top of what I'm giving you.
Sure.
That is your income.
Sure. I mean, we can talk about business all day long and say cash flow's king and you've got to pay this and do that and do the other and tax and everything else.
Exactly.
But I appreciate where you're coming from, obviously.
Nobody was paid. And there's a lot of money in lieu. And you've got poor young brides who spent their life savings on this. They now can't get married. They've had to cancel their wedding. I'm still getting married. We're still getting married in October.
I was just going to come on to the fact that you said to me on the phone that you feel you're one of the lucky ones because you can afford to get
Oh,
redo it.
well, I can't. But
you're
Well, I
managing
will.
to go ahead.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
some people have had to make some really hard decisions.
yeah, they
haven't
can't get married. Now, I mean, we've got 80 guests flying over, and
Wow.
some of these guests are bringing out their children and then bringing out their parents to look after their children on the day of the wedding. So
Yeah.
close to 120 people, for argument's sake, are flying out for this day that's in 3 months.
I don't know that many people.
Well, you're the most hated man in Tenerife, so I'm not surprised. Do you feel like if your wedding wasn't abroad here in Tenerife and that you didn't maybe have this responsibility that people had already booked and paid for parents to come and that kind of thing, do you think maybe you would have waited?
Yeah, we would have done. We would have had to put it back, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think you've made compromises? Because
Okay.
we just spoke to Julie, who is another bride affected by all of this, who
Yeah.
says she's still going ahead with the wedding as well, but it's not going to be what they originally planned. They've had to
No.
make some big changes.
Yep.
Have you had to do similar?
We have, yeah. So we was originally using 2 venues. Now we're only using the one.
Although Plantation is beautiful.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We've been there a few times. So yeah, we are going to use that. We was originally going to del Lomo.
Punta del Lomo, yeah.
Punta del Lomo, that's
Yeah.
it, the banana plantation.
Yeah,
we're not
Finca,
we're not using that now. So that was going to be the reception and the party. Now we're keeping everything at the plantation, only because I didn't want to go through a wedding planner again. We wanted to do everything in house.
Yeah.
Less worry, especially with what's gone on this time. You know. So
I actually wanted to ask you, because I know obviously you just said you didn't want to use a wedding planner again. Completely understand that. But obviously there has to be an element of putting trust in somebody, and you're putting your
Yeah.
trust in the hotel, and like you said, they've got an events planner.
Yep.
And you're saying they're lovely and everything, but
Yeah.
then you also thought this about Claire and us.
Yeah.
Is there an element to you and Alex that's anxious, worried, like almost?
I trust them, but then again, I trusted.
That's what I mean.
trusted
Is there an
Claire and
element
Lars,
of almost
so-
like, and in a sad way, you just want to kind of get this over and done with, so that you
but
don't
know
have
what?
to.
In the same breath, with everything that's happened, I feel like it's going to make the day even more better than
Yeah.
it was at the time, because we've had to come through a lot to finally get there, you know. And so once we do eventually get it over the line, I know a few of the girls have got married in the last couple of days. Another one
Yeah.
of them lands today. They're still going ahead with it all, and as I say, they've had even less time to pull the money back up, you know. But
Yeah.
once the day does come round, it'll be even better than it would have been in the first
bigger
place,
party, a
due
bigger
to
celebration.
what we've been through in the lead up to it.
What's your next step now?
Go back home, go to work, and try and earn some money to pay for this wedding. I
Yeah.
guess.
Wow.
Can I ask last question? How's Alex doing?
She's okay. Like I said, we've
Yeah.
come to terms with it now. We've spent 2 weeks panicking. What we're going to do? But I think it put her mind at rest a bit. Me flying out. Once I realised I wasn't going to find them, I went and started making plans to restructure the wedding. I went to the hotel, met the event manager. We took a brochure. We've rebooked everything.
Yeah.
And now we've got another payment plan in place, which we need to try and get done before we go. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We really appreciate you coming
We
in.
really
No,
do, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Best luck with the wedding, and have a great time. And we hope you continue to come back to Tenerife and celebrate all your anniversaries.
And for the record, we will ask your questions
Yeah.
to Weddings in Tenerife.
Please do.
Exactly how you worded them.
Yeah, and if they want to come and drop that $6,000 the same as they did the other people's suitcases, then feel free to do that. So,
Well, we'll ask the question. We'll see
Yeah,
what we can do.
definitely.
okay,
You never
thank you
know.
very much. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you, Charlie. We have one more couple to come on to the pod, so we will be joined next by Sergio. So we have another groom to be in with us right now. His name is Sergio. Welcome, Sergio. Thank you for coming in today. I feel like your story is slightly different. You live here, you and your partner. So whereas the people that we've spoken to today are visitors to Tenerife, and they've come here. They've chosen Tenerife because they love to holiday here and that kind of thing. You guys live here. I'm assuming perhaps have heard of Weddings in Tenerife and their legacy, and that's why you booked with them. I'm going to let you start off and just tell us your point of view and sort of like take us back to the
Your
beginning.
story.
Because, yeah, your story, I know, because I've seen some of the things that you've said, and there seems to be a lot of sort of odd things throughout your story. So, yeah, start from the beginning, basically.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me and to basically give our side of the story. I would like to say a couple of things first. To Lars, you are a manipulative liar. I would like to clarify that the majority of things that were said here on the latest podcast, they are not, or they do not reflect the truth.
What, the podcast when he was here?
That's correct.
Okay.
And from your side, I would like to say that, and this is my personal opinion, that the way it was conducted, it came across as a little bit patronizing, condescending, and I will say to a certain extent diminishing to the brides and grooms. And I'm going to say this because I would regret myself not giving the speech right now.
Yeah.
And being as an impulsive man as I am, I'm sorry, but I cannot afford any regrets.
No, that's fair enough. Listen,
we
we understand how you feel as far as the fact that they've cancelled. But we do not understand in any way, shape or form the emotional side and the emotional stress that people are going through at all. And we've both said that, haven't we?
Yeah, 100%. And since sort of knowing this, there's a lot of speculation and guesses, and maybe some of the questions that we may have, we will never get 100% answers to. But one thing we all agree on is this is shit for you guys that are going through it. And we just, again, thank you for joining us today.
Delighted you've come in.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'm honestly delighted you've come in. I want you to say your piece. This is your platform. Go for it.
Well, I'm going to start from the beginning of what Lars mentioned here on the podcast with you guys. First of all, when you've mentioned that they've sent the email and from that point forward they cannot do anything else. Legally speaking, that's not the truth, and it doesn't work that way. Legally speaking, they should have gone to a lawyer. That email should and could have been drafted by a lawyer and then sent to all the brides and grooms. On saying, oh, we sent the email, we cannot do anything else, legally speaking, it's completely void.
In what way? Yeah, what way do you mean?
It needs to be done by a lawyer, drafted by a lawyer, sent to all the creditors, grooms, brides, and everything to who they owe money. They send an email because I woke up this morning and say, oh, I want to declare bankruptcy, and I'm going to send an email to everyone else. That's completely void, legally speaking. Until a judge in the court of law, in the mercantile registry, will basically declare that the company is insolvent, they are obliged to provide all the services that they were hired to provide.
What if they can't?
It's their problem, they will have to find a way.
No, but what if they can't? What if they financially can't?
Okay.
Because when I sought legal advice, they said once the application for the insolvency had been accepted, stamped, which I've got the lawyer documents for, at that point they can stop trading.
Okay.
You're saying that's not true?
That's not true, and I'm saying this because I consulted a lawyer.
Well, so did I.
And I'm saying, so we've got two conflicting informations given by lawyers.
Exactly.
So if there's a conflicting information given by lawyers, so they should have sought legal advice first and foremost, and it would be a lawyer that would have advised them on how to proceed, which, in my perspective, and this is my opinion, it didn't come across that way. Sure. And I'm going to say...
Sorry.
Yes.
If they had done it in the way that you suggested, what in what way would it be different now? Like what?
Easy, because they would have given the lawyers contact, and everyone would be able to contact their lawyers to give them themselves as creditors. Because when they will start the insolvency procedures with the court, they will need to give all the creditors. When that will be published on the Boletim Oficial, whomever is not on that list should and take a step forward and say, I'm a creditor for the company. That procedure was
that's what comes up later on.
That should have been done in the beginning, and all the creditors should have been informed.
Okay.
Sending an email saying, we're going to declare insolvency, you can do that, Chris, in their behalf. Is that legally biased?
No, but at the same time, I have spoken to their lawyers, and I have seen the communication between the lawyers, and I've seen the application, the fact the application's been accepted. And that lawyer told me the process as well as my own, and that what you're saying is the next stage, not the initial stage. They can't contact all the creditors and all the rest of it until the application's been made. So in their email informing people they're intending, I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm only being told what I've been, saying what I've been told, then the stage you're talking about is effectively stage 2 in the process, not stage 1. Stage 1 was informing everyone. I'm not saying they've gone about it the right way. I'm not saying that for a second. But, you know, the bits you're talking about publication in the BOC and obviously the creditors and debtors and so on and so forth, until proceedings have started and things are looked at closer, then those things won't be public. Now, I'm only going about what I was told off my own and what theirs are saying, is that this is the first stage to apply for it and have it accepted. And it can take between 1 and 3 months before you get to the stage you're talking about.
So my question is...
But this isn't addressing your situation.
No, I'm just following basically the primary footsteps of everything. So
Okay,
basically
cool.
how it
Fair enough.
started, obviously the insolvency, because this was the kickstart.
By the way, I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just trying to understand both sides. I'm trying to understand it.
But the kickstart was the email. This
course.
is where everything started.
Yep.
So
Of course, yeah.
right now we're
100%.
trying to give a context of the entire situation, so this will make some sense, because it's quite easy for me to say, I've lost XYZ money without giving a context on how everything started.
Okay.
So everything
Fair
started
comment.
this way.
Yep. How did you
Now-
feel when you received that email?
I thought it was a prank, because I received an
You
email.
thought it was what, sorry?
A prank.
Prank.
Seriously?
Yes,
Wow.
because in the beginning I received a text message from Claire, basically saying, may I have an email address? I gave my email and Zoe's email.
Zoe's your...
My partner,
your partner.
my fiance.
Yeah.
And then we received an email 5-10 minutes after. Zoe's in the shower, and when I've told her, Weddings in Tenerife is declaring for insolvency. So it was like, you're kidding me. No, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It was...
You thought it was a bad joke from someone?
I don't know.
I guess
couldn't
in
believe.
a state of shock a little bit. I guess like, if
was.
for that information to kind of settle in, and Charlie said a similar thing. Like
It was
takes
difficult
a
to
moment
process.
to go like, wait, what? Like
It was difficult to process.
And that's the bit we can't understand. You're quite right.
Well, there's a lot of things that I can't understand, to be
Yeah.
quite honest.
No, I mean us. That's the bit we can't understand, how you felt at that
like
point.
we can't appreciate what
Yeah.
you guys are going through.
Appreciate,
in
not
regards to
understand. You
I
know,
will,
you-
without sounding awful, and
Yeah.
Chris, I'm going to give an example, and Jenny as well.
Yeah.
Tenerife is a very small island where everyone knows everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm going to give here 2 different examples, and please allow me.
Yeah.
Jenny, you were engaged so not long ago. Imagine that you're preparing your wedding with your fiance, with Weddings in Tenerife, and things went burst, and you invested a lot of your money and time. How would you have felt?
Oh, of course, heartbroken, absolutely
Chris,
heartbroken.
you on the last podcast, you mentioned that you are with your accountant right now, taking care of your tax rebate regarding the COVID years, where we're talking about a lot of money.
No, not tax rebate. COVID help.
That they were taken
That
and you're
they've-
taking
they've
them-
returned back, yeah.
Now imagine that your accountant would run away with your money. How would you feel?
Well, obviously, I'd feel obviously devastated about that. Of course, I understand that. That's the financial side, though.
Correct.
You know, but there's something different in this.
There are.
This isn't, you know, let's put the money to one side. As much as money's important, the bit I can understand the financial side. What we struggle to understand or appreciate is the other side, is the how you feel about it, the emotional side, the fact your wedding is. I don't know. Is your wedding still going? When was your wedding?
No,
for?
cancelled. It
When
was
your-
for September, 3rd of April 2027.
and that was here on the Gulf, wasn't it?
Correct. At the
But,
club.
but it's cancelled.
We had to cancel the venue.
Okay.
We had to cancel everything for now. We are basically going back to square one and trying to rebuild everything from scratch.
Sure.
Because we've lost a lot of money. We've lost 8,650 euros.
Okay.
And that's
It's a lot of money for anyone.
It is. But that's the second part that we will talk a little bit further along the line. But for now, just to put into perspective.
Okay.
We had roughly, on our budget for 16,000, we had the money set aside to pay for the rest. Now, starting from the beginning to replan everything, it's not easy. And furthermore, because both myself and Zoe, we work shifts. Sometimes we don't know what time we're going to finish. It's difficult for us, and that's why we hired Weddings in Tenerife
Okay.
to organize everything for us.
Did you know them beforehand?
I did.
Okay.
So I knew them from the past, from my previous relationship. My ex worked we worked for them.
Oh, wow.
So I knew them, I'm going to say, for the past, I would say, perhaps 5 or 6 years. Obviously, when myself and Zoe...
And obviously trusted them
I trusted them.
because obviously
I
you,
trusted them.
yeah.
I knew Lars past, and I'm from Portugal. I've dealt with a lot of criminals in my life. I had loads of friends who were in jail. I have friends who are police officers. I've lawyers who are my friends. So
Sure.
I know a myriad of people of all spectrums.
Okay.
I
So
do
you
not-
knew this before,
I did.
and this isn't an issue to you?
Never
Because
was
I
an
know
issue
for
for
some
me.
people in comments and things, it has been, well, of course this has happened, this is his past. You knew this and you went in
Not a
having
problem.
already
Not a
experienced and
problem.
thinking this isn't
We
an
spoke
issue.
very openly on
Yeah.
a couple of times that both myself and Zoe, we've been in their office.
Okay.
We spoke openly about it. And I do understand that we all have a past. We all did good things, bad things. I am not the kind of man
To dwell on it. Yeah.
be prejudiced against no one. I'm sorry, that's not me. That's not how my mom and dad raised me. So that's a little bit
Okay.
my base as a man.
Okay. Let's talk about your quote then, because you said there was things that weren't right on your quote either.
Correct. I want to clarify here just one thing, because you've mentioned this on the podcast,
no problem.
and I will take full accountability
Yeah,
for
no
one
problem.
of the emails that I've sent you in the beginning. I was the one who sent you the email saying that it was 70 couples
Mm-hmm.
involved, roughly 1.4 million. I want to stand corrected on that one, because obviously there were a lot of people, like you've been inundated with
Mm-hmm.
comments, complaints, lashing out. So did we received a lot of information as well. And in the beginning, yes, the numbers were a little bit higher, but obviously we were talking about unhappy couples, people that didn't went along with the situation. Obviously, we've made.
I
the
think we're also
filter.
talking about people who are saying how much their wedding was going to be, not
Correct.
how much they paid.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct. So I want to stand corrected on that one
No,
and
it's
take
fine.
full
No problem.
accountability. I was the one who sent that email. Obviously, it was amended and corrected afterwards.
It was, yes.
As
correct.
we speak, we're talking about 45 couples being affected.
Okay.
Okay. That said, I received two budget given by Claire. The first one for 14,983 euros
This was for your wedding, yeah?
for my wedding.
Okay.
Which basically included DJ, open bar, all sorts of things. They never went to the venue with
Well, I was
us.
going to say this surprised me because
Yeah.
you said that you went to the venue twice yourselves
Correct.
without them.
Correct.
Does that now obviously raise a red flag as to why?
No, because obviously the venue itself, it was a place where Claire organized loads of events before, so
Okay.
she got us in touch with the person of the venue straight away. It didn't raise any red flags. The only thing that for me raised a red flag, and both myself and Zoe have made that comment, it was the fact that she never went there with us.
Yeah.
So she gave us the opportunity, like, this is the place that you want to do. You need to organize everything with them, and obviously it's our prerogative to say no or yes.
Okay.
For me, came across a little bit odd the fact that she was never there with us,
Yeah.
and we needed that extra from her because there were a couple of things that we wanted to change.
Of course. Everyone
and-
has their own package, though,
Correct.
isn't it?
And
Yeah.
we
And
had
you're
to do-
hiring a wedding planner to do these things for you. Like you said, you're hiring a wedding planner because
Paying
you're
for their
busy.
services.
Like that. So were you not like, hang on, what are we paying for if we're doing all the kind
That's
of
correct.
legwork ourselves?
And that, but again, I do understand, and my thought was that they're busy, they've got lots of weddings to organize, they don't have the availability to do so. So, yeah, I'm going to put that one aside.
Okay.
For me, the biggest red flag was, I'm going to say since perhaps January onward, that the communication basically was,
Of this year?
yes,
Yeah.
it was no. We've
Really?
tried to organize.
So everything just stopped?
Yes. So we had, so the email was sent on the 20th,
Of May.
21st, I think.
22nd of May, yeah.
22nd of May. So we had a meeting with Claire on the Monday. An hour before the meeting, she sent us an email saying she couldn't attend the meeting if it would be possible to organize for the following week
And where was this supposed to be?
on their office
Right.
in San
In
Isidro.
San Isidro, yeah.
Okay. So that came out strange.
Right.
But anyway, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So obviously, when the email was sent, it was like, okay, makes sense now.
Makes sense now, even though you thought it was a prank.
Yeah, at the beginning, yes, I did.
Okay. No, but you also said there was some discrepancies on your budget as well, because you asked for a couple of things.
Correct,
The price went up,
correct.
but
For-
also had less on it. Is that
correct,
right?
that's correct. So basically, for the second budget that we received, so in the meantime, both myself and Zoe, we asked for, I think, 2 hours more for the DJ, 2 hours more for open bar. We asked for a quote for those changes. We were asking how much it would be if we wanted to do the celebration on the grass.
Sure.
We have more guests coming because
Nothing that's extreme,
No, it's with all due respect, it's something that
you'd expect. Yeah.
yes. So obviously, when I got the quote,
It's
nearly
crazy, isn't it?
16,000, and the second one, no DJ, open bar the same amount of time, and a quote for 54 adults and 6 children. I'm sorry, but something's really odd.
Right.
So where are all those changes that we requested?
Got you. And this is when you started.
Get a little bit two and two together. Something
Yeah.
was a little bit off.
It just, I mean, this story with the kind of like discrepancies and the odd things and the money going up, the things being taken off, this is the first situation as a couple that I've heard of this, and it just makes me wonder, why would they be doing this? It just seems like everyone else is like, they've had a quote, it seems very straightforward, and then they've gone,
They've had contact.
yeah, but like this just seems a bit bizarre. Like, why, what do you feel like they're gaining from these little changes and perhaps starting to try and add on? Do you think maybe it was them trying to save a bit, get a bit behind them to avoid this situation? Or
Jen, it's a very good question, but you're asking the wrong person.
Okay.
I don't know.
okay,
I'm going to say something, and I've seen a pattern, and that is, it was pointed out to me by
Yeah.
one of the other wedding planners, because Weddings in Tenerife is also responsible for the food and drink. If you make for the catering, if you make
Right.
that agreement. Now, it's interesting what both Julie and Charlie said, that their ceremonies or their blessings were going to be taking at the hotel, but the reception was going to take place in Punta de Loma, because Weddings in Tenerife can't do the catering inside a hotel. Mm-hmm. They can do it outside in a finca or villa or independent location. So it seems to me that to supply more of their own services, they had to get people out of the hotels.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
So if you're asking, like you just said, are the bits in there that are showing a pattern for them to win more money, then that's definitely one
Yeah.
that I've seen from talking to people along the way. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but at the end of the day, that would mean one thing then. Because the budget that they're giving to people, that means that their profit, in the end,
He's bigger.
it's bigger.
Absolutely.
Which raises a couple of questions, and I'm going to go for the first sentence that Lars mentioned here, which was, we found out 2 weeks ago that we wouldn't have any more money to run the show. But in a couple of months, we would be back on our own 2 feet. So where is the difference between now
So how,
and
yeah.
a couple of months?
How or why?
Where would you find the money?
That's a fair question.
Or were you trying to get more money from couples like us?
Right.
So
Well, that's definitely one we need to ask.
This is one of the questions
Okay.
that, in my opinion, and this is what I was saying in the beginning of my speech,
Yep.
that it would be perhaps my first question. Where would be the difference between now and a couple of months? Where would the money come?
Absolutely.
Because
Fair
Lars
question.
mentioned we got in contact with XYZ companies. I don't know if they did or not. It's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
My problem lies when he's saying, right now we don't have money, in a couple of months we would. Where would that money come?
okay,
Okay.
yeah, we
That's
will
one
put
question.
it to them for sure.
What's the next one?
Oh, I got here millions of them. Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
So we've got roughly 45 couples involved.
Yep.
26
Are on
are
that
willing
spreadsheet.
to be mentioned.
And this is the same spreadsheet as Charlie looked at. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So we're
Okay.
talking here about
268,000, yeah?
correct. To which 16,000 were paid for venues.
Yep.
Which,
So where's the other $250,000?
okay, and this is just for 26, where Lars mentioned here that we're talking roughly about 400,000 euros. Well, we are aware that the value is way over €500,000.
Okay.
So the question is, are we playing Monopoly?
How do you work that figure out if you've got 268 there?
A couple of couples, they wish to remain nameless,
Okay.
which we're going to respect.
You mean
that.
separately to the sheet?
Correct.
Okay.
They want to remain nameless, so
Yep.
obviously we're not going to mention them. We're not going to mention how much money was spent, but I can tell you that the total value, it's way over €500,000.
Right. Okay. That's a fair comment.
The question is, are we playing Monopoly with people's lives? Is this a game with our lives? €500,000, it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money that it means a lot to a lot of people.
It's a lot of money that you're saying it can't be accounted for or is not being accounted for.
Oh, no, they should. So when you asked me in the beginning, how do you feel? When I saw Lars' podcast with you guys, what shocked me the most, and I sent this on the email to you, for me it was shockingly, the lack of accountability.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's not saying, oh, I'm sorry. It's the lack of accountability. Where is that money? How do you spend? Because this is money that was spent in advance for couples that were due to get married in 2026, 2027, 2028.
But particularly 2026, because that's where the bulk of the money in that spreadsheet is.
I'm not But where is that money? How did you spend that money? Where is the money trail?
Yeah.
Because it's very easy for me to say the company went bust. How?
Sure.
Where did you spend the money? And I will get back to another point.
I mean, this will come out in the bankruptcy proceedings.
Will it?
Well, they have to they have to show a paper trail when they start getting the forensic analysis into the runnings of the business.
Mm-hmm.
So it will come out where that money's
So
got.
perhaps I'm going to give a couple of evidence to the state to properly check
Great,
everything.
absolutely.
I'm going to ask you one thing then.
Yep.
Because it was mentioned here.
I
that-
don't have the answers, by the way.
No,
but-
I know. But you mentioned that you want to ask the question, so let's ask the question.
Perfect.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So any business, and you run a business, do you need to be registered on the mercantile
the mercantile register,
Okay.
correct.
So they are registered as organization, promotion, and management of events such as conventions, reunions, and others, which will include or not managing and getting personnel to realize those certain functions by themselves. My question is,
Now,
where-
that's the classification of the activity code.
correct for
the business.
for weddings in
Yeah.
Tenerife.
Every
Where-
business, just to explain to Jenny, every business, Jen, has an activity code. We have one for our business.
Yeah.
So our activity code doesn't just cover radio, it covers newspaper, it covers events, it covers different
Yeah,
things.
and if you want to start, I don't know, like selling houses, for example,
have to
then you have to
change it.
change
Correct.
that. and
You
add
need
that,
to add
yeah.
on, not change, but add on.
Yes.
You can't
another
just-
code for another business. Which, if you want to diversify your business, you are more.
But
than
you have,
welcome
yeah,
to do
you
so.
can't just do what you want.
It also doesn't mean that you do operate everything in those. It's what the
Yeah.
activity is permitted
It allows
to do.
you to.
This
do,
is up
I
to
understand.
date.
Okay, great.
This is on the CIA, on the CIF website, Datos CIF Empresas.
Which is in the public domain.
Correct. Where is Tapas and Olé?
Sorry?
Where is Tapas and Olé? The cafeteria that they opened? Where
Does
is the
it-
registration?
Where? Right, okay. Without asking, does it mention restoration
No.
in the... It doesn't. Okay.
It's all yours.
Okay. There's a question we have to ask.
Yeah.
For the hacienda, for instance, how will they claim for the hacienda?
Yeah, again, these are all questions that, like Chris just said, we don't have the answers to.
No,
but
that's
This is
fine.
something
We are-
that when we
we
spoke
are
on
gonna
the
put to
phone,
all-
I've
No,
told you,
absolutely.
I did my homework.
Listen, you know as well as I do. You're not breaking any rules by diversifying your business,
No.
but you're quite right. You have to declare the activity.
Correct.
You know, that's two different things.
Correct.
In the same way as showing active on the mercantile register is different than showing active in the tax office.
Correct.
The tax office can be backered very quickly. The mercantile register won't happen until the ruling has taken place, as we discussed on the phone. But I know I can't answer the question as to why they don't have the activity in there, but I guess that's something they have not done.
So my next question is.
So we will ask them the question.
Okay, so my next question is, if they by any chance took this, and I'm going to use just these values here, 280,000 euros, to put on the cafeteria that they've opened, what do you classify that,
Well, Lars said that they use Claire's inheritance.
according to him?
That's what I'm saying. All right. What would I...
Because
okay.
that's a question. You ask me for questions, I'm asking the questions.
No, you're asking, you're trying to get me to say it's theft or fraud.
No, no,
or
no, no, no,
something.
no.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm not. I'm asking your opinion. What if...
No, you
this
said,
is a-
what is it?
No. I stand corrected then, and I'm going to rephrase my question again. What if they've
What
used...
if? Okay.
What
That's
if
more-
they've
that's
used this
fairer.
money,
But are not
instead,
declaring the
instead of
activity.
providing the services
Yeah.
for another business? I'm going to give you an example.
Well, let me ask you a question. Because in this classification, they offer food and drink as part of the service as there. Does that come under, I don't know if it does or not, but does that come under organisation of events, etc.?
If they will open the cafeteria just to organize events and so on, then that needs to be classified when they open the cafe, that this will be just for events.
And you've got this information not just offline, you've spoken to legal to clarify this, yeah?
Yes, and
Okay.
I'm going to ask the question. So why did
Because I
they
don't know everything, but
why did they have it open and serving meals for everyone?
to the public.
Unless this is a big public event for everyone and everyone is invited to come over. And then we will charge you in the end. But that would be a completely different classification that I'm unaware of.
So are you suggesting that they filtered the money from people's weddings into their restaurant?
I'm saying it's an option that I will leave in the air. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have those answers. I'm asking questions, and
for them.
I'm getting this as I would say an option.
Okay.
I don't know those.
That's
answers.
fair. Yeah. But you want to put it out there.
Because I will ask one question, which
Yeah.
is pertinent.
Okay.
I was with Laura and Liam. They flew back to Glasgow last Saturday.
Okay.
They've spent
I've not spoken to them.
I spoke with them. They spent 5,426 euros for their wedding on the 28th of May. No money for the venue.
This year.
This year? No, last week.
Last week.
Okay. Where is that money? Because no contact with vendors, no contact with no one. They had to come over and do everything from scratch.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
One of the things that they've told me, and Liam and Laura, it's one of the things that they've asked me and Charlie, please do represent us. Because we feel like
Absolutely.
we don't have a voice.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest, I would say, frustration that people had. It was that they didn't have a voice. That's something that I've mentioned to you in the beginning.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely. And
one of us was not here with Lars to confront him with all these pending questions.
For a start, we didn't know he was coming in. So, and I know people have said we've made the wrong decision to get him in. However, we wouldn't necessarily be having this conversation with you replying to it if he hadn't. So I will stand by the fact it was the right thing for him to come in. Because I've totally agreed. That doesn't mean we agree with what he said. Yeah? So, I'm quite happy for you to come in off the back of that, because you are now getting deeper into points that you have not answers for, but
Questions for.
But questions
Yeah.
for. Oh no, absolutely. To go up against.
But I need to disagree with you on one thing that you've mentioned on the last podcast when you were saying, I received loads of comments of people and they are funneling now their questions. No, that podcast opened a lot more questions instead of funneling the questions. That podcast made us have even more questions than initially
But
we
some of the
had.
ones I spoke to said, no, I don't want to get involved now. My
Yes.
questions are answered.
So
There was people who had questions answered.
Yeah, and I personally, I think I've said this, I personally put together a lot of those questions, and the way I put them together was scrolling through a lot of the forums, the people that were talking about this, the ones that had most comments, and the comments that started off, what I want to know is. So a lot of them were questions that I'd directly taken. And I feel like we did sort of say, why did you take money if you know you're going to go bankrupt? But I do also agree. And I think your questions are really good. And I think that they need answering. I would want to know from you, if you get answers to these questions, like, for example, the activity and being allowed to have a restaurant and that kind of thing, whether it's an answer that you accept or don't accept, how is it going to change the way you feel about your wedding being cancelled? I agree that you deserve the answers, but will it change anything for you?
Jenny, I've lived a lot of things in my life. And if there's something that life taught me is that things happen for a reason. I'm a very positive person.
Mm-hmm.
Can see that.
But there's one thing that I will not accept. It's people use, deceive, manipulate, lie others in being unaccountable for. If you'll ask me, when I will have those answers, the only thing that I can say, and I can only thank the two of you, is because that podcast can and may be used in a court of law against Lars. Because if there will be, and I will urge everyone that will listen to this podcast to go to their police stations, and I mean the couples being affected, go to their police stations, either in Tenerife or England, and they can request to be sent back to Spain. Because any crime, and I'm going to specify this one, any crime that will involve over 50,000 euros may have a prison sentence between 1 to 6 years. We're talking over €500,000 paid in advance for services not provided. Whether it's the money went to the cafe or not, we've paid for services not provided.
Yeah.
Saying, we went bankrupt? I'm sorry, it's not my responsibility. Why? Because that's what I've said in the beginning, and I think that I've proved quite clearly that Lars lied from the beginning till the end when it came to everything that he said. He received money the week before. They were asking money the week before. The day before, they sent the email. they were lying. They were trying to take people out of money.
People's
And this
money, yeah.
can figure a crime. Because if you know 2 weeks in advance, that was said publicly by Lars, that they knew that the company would go bankrupt, so they consciously committed a crime when they tried to take money out of people. And that will be sent, or may be sent, to the judiciary police to investigate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're talking
And fair
about
comment,
a
yeah.
very, very, very serious situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, just to clarify, because you and I discussed obviously the chargebacks, because, you know, and we both know, we both agreed, we've spoken about this, that the chargebacks via Wix, yes, they've been granted, doesn't mean the money will be paid either within 90 days or until the ruling has been passed. Correct?
Correct.
So now, as of the end of May, that was 78,500. I've been told that's gone up considerably and will continue to go up, because obviously as more and more people are making clawbacks, obviously, or requesting chargebacks, those are going through. The balance of it going through court could take a bit of time, couldn't it?
Okay. Two things, because Lars mentioned here that they refunded people. You went with what Lars said. I do understand where you're coming from, but we need to clarify here.
I have got the copy of a transfer, but you're saying to me that that was not a transfer, it was a send back by the bank, correct?
Yes. So two different things. They didn't send the money back. This one was a transfer that the bank never went ahead with, and they returned the money back to
The
sender.
bank returned the money.
It was not Lars and Claire that they refunded people. To be really, really clear, a refund is when I voluntarily will do something. When I will give your money back, I will transfer directly, then I'm doing a refund. If you will go to your bank, to your card issuer, and you request, we got here a situation, you complain, and because Wix works on the same platform as Revolut.
Absolutely.
If
And
you
N26, yeah.
if you complain with your bank or card issuer, and the bank directly will get the money back, that's a cashback. A cashback is done when it's, I'm going to say, provoked or requested by the bank or card issuer. It's not done voluntarily.
Sure.
And this needs to be clarified, because Lars mentioned that they refunded people's money. They didn't refund no one. Because myself and Zoe, we got in touch with La Caixa. We requested, as Bank Santander, our money back, or a portion of our money that we did the transfer. Till today, because before we came over, I was on the phone with my bank, and they said we don't have an answer from Bank Santander, which means that they will have been informed that there was someone trying to claim back their money, and so far that has not been granted. They need to authorize that operation to go ahead, which they did not.
That's through the bank, not through Wix.
Correct. This was a direct bank transfer.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to establish here two different comparisons.
I'm not saying for a second that they're claiming that they've refunded via Wix. The claims have been made via Wix.
Correct.
By credit card people, which we explained on the last pod.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you've just said, the same as Revolut, the same as N26, any of these, same as Stripe.
Platforms.
They're the same as these platforms. 30 to 40 days minimum for a normal situation if you get a flight cancelled or something. But in this situation, where there is obviously proceedings, it can take up to 90 days or as long as the case. So that's obviously the difference.
Is there anything to make you think that you might not get the money that you've put into this back?
I know I'm not going to get the money back.
You don't think you'll get anything
No.
back?
Really?
Why
No.
not?
Why not? Because
You think it's gone?
I've witnessed in my life, I'm 50 years old. I don't know how old are you, Chris, but
55.
55.
56 tomorrow.
56 tomorrow. So I'm not going to wish you happy birthday just yet. I will call you tomorrow just to wish you happy birthday.
You don't have to. I've
Okay.
stopped celebrating.
Me too. We get to a certain age where we stop celebrating our anniversary.
I'm not there
I think
yet.
I think that Zoe will understand that afterwards.
Mine's 4th of October if you want to pop in. I like chocolate cake.
But anyway, I've witnessed over the course of my life a lot of people went bankrupt, and the first thing that they do, it's get in touch with all the creditors. They sell what they have. They give the money back to people. And that's how you do things when you run an honest business and when you want to do things honestly, when you want to keep your head held high.
Can I ask a question on that note, on that point? How differently would you felt about them if they had contacted you directly, spoke to you, said this, and obviously not necessarily justified it, but explained the situation a bit better and how would you have felt differently about them?
Completely different, because they would have taken the initiative to speak face to face. The business went sideways, we invested the money. I'm going to give this as an example. Let's assume, for instance, that they said the money that we had, we invested on the bar. Unfortunately, things went sideways. We're going to sell all the properties that we've got just to cover all the losses. I will have to ask you guys to be patient. Okay, I would be upset. It's my money on the hold.
Yep.
It's all my dreams and Zoe's dreams on the line. But it would be completely different if someone would have taken the initiative to speak, to say something face to face, not hiding.
So it's more about that. I know that obviously
That's
the money
one
and
of the
everything,
sides.
but that's one of the major
Chris,
things.
that's one of the sides.
Yeah.
It's almost like the dagger being twisted, isn't it? Like it's painful, but then that's like an extra.
You feel like, yeah, someone stabbed you, but then you've got the second one. When Lars came to the podcast and he gave that shameless interview with you, that for me was the cherry on top.
The third one, yeah.
That was for me enough. I was really upset, not to say something a little bit more out of line. Zoe, she's crying her eyes out.
Yeah.
She had
And
one of
yeah.
her uncles was flying from Dubai to come over. We had some of our uncles which had flights paid already. My side of the family excited to come over from Portugal to be here in Tenerife to meet Zoe's side, because they didn't have yet the opportunity. This would be a family gathering. And all that right now, it's on hold. So how can you try to explain, how can you try to basically accept support, and it's difficult because
When do you think it will go ahead?
again, I had to go back to the drawing board, think about finances, money that we will have coming in. It will not be as we expected. Right now, we are planning to postpone for April 2028. We still need to go and look for places. Zoe has a couple of ideas. That's her side, because she's got a more female insight, and Zoe, she's got a different sensitivity.
Would you use a wedding planner again?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. We've been in touch with a few already. People that feel that this is a disgraceful situation.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I've said this, and I said this in the beginning, and we spoke about this on the phone. Tenerife, it's a very small island. Everyone knows everything about everyone. So everyone was made aware of what was going on. So yes, we had a lot of places that got in touch with us. One of the things that I've mentioned to you, Chris, and I will leave this question in the air. When we were talking, and Lars here made the point to say that Claire had 15 years experience on the island. Now, I've been contacted through my line of work, a couple of venues that contacted me that said that basically they refused to work with Weddings in Tenerife.
Now, we've had this from other people, but
Yes.
nobody's... I'm not being... We've had... So, for example, your venue is working with them, or has been working with them. Plantation has. The ones that we've spoken to, the venue was happy to work with them. But everyone is saying that other venues...
If you want to, I can give you the name
but
off the record, and then you can do the
That's what
follow-up.
I'm saying, but off the record, nobody's actually named one of them. None of the brides have said it themselves when I've spoken to them. It's always been a third person saying it.
I spoke directly. With some of the venues.
No, but what I mean is, you're telling me, but the brides whose weddings were there haven't said anything to me.
I'm telling you
Yeah.
right here and now, I spoke with some of the venues,
Sure.
which told me directly, face to face, we will not work with them.
But this is why, when you said to me, we need to do our job and speak to the venues, I haven't got a clue who any of them are.
Yeah.
You could have
Because we
asked
don't
me.
know.
I would have given you the answer. You didn't ask me.
Well, we only spoke on Thursday.
If you want a
In a
detective,
or
you
Friday.
can pay me out of the book, and I'll work as a detective for you. I don't have any issues about it. As you can see, I can.
I'd like to
dig
know
it.
afterwards, though, definitely. If you
I'll
don't
let you
mind.
know. I know.
Thank
No,
you.
I will let you know.
Did they? What reasons did they give you they wouldn't work with them?
No.
They
I
didn't give you
ask.
reasons.
I was so angry at the moment that I didn't ask any questions. It didn't cross my mind, to be fair.
And how many of the brides on that list have been affected by that?
In what way? Venues?
Well, by venues that wouldn't work with people.
I would say 2 handful.
So there's still venues that they were planning weddings at.
Yes.
That the
A few
venues
of
have said
them-
they wouldn't work with them.
A few of them that basically said we were unaware of anything. A few of them that said we will not accept anything no more. A few of them that said this is completely out of our date right now.
Did they say they wouldn't accept it since the letter, or the email, or before?
It was when people got in touch with them.
So
Right.
it's, you're saying it's brides that have found out that the weddings in Tenerife whatever's happened, they've contacted the venue and the venue have gone, no, we haven't got a booking, we would not work with them, we would never have even taken a booking. Is that...
No, not in that sense, but in the
Right.
sense that we got this venue booked with Weddings in Tenerife for this date, and the reply was, we don't have anything here. We are unaware of.
Okay.
Some of them that said, we will not work with them no more. Basically, they stopped.
Okay.
There's at
After
least one
that
that I
date?
remember.
No, but what
yes.
I'm trying to clarify is, did they say before the email that they'd stopped working with them,
I don't have
or
that
since the email? Because
Right,
obviously
yeah.
since
That's
the
it, this
email
is
makes more
different.
sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to get to
It's
the
a
bottom
very
of it.
good question. I don't have that answer for you.
We'll try and find
Obviously,
out. We'll
I
try
can
and find out.
I can try and find out. As soon as I get the answer, I can email it back
Or
to
we'll
you.
try and find out as
I
well.
will just like to clarify a couple of things that again was mentioned here by Lars, which is not the truth. When you mentioned that only deposit were paid for weddings to be held in 2027, 2028.
Or the initial deposit.
Correct.
Was 2,000.
So I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weddings for 2027, 2028. 1, 2, 3, 4 paid 2,000 euros. Katie paid 14,800. Myself and Zoe 8,650.
But was that the original deposit?
No. This is payments that people did.
Because what he said was the original deposit was 2,000, and then the balance was split
I
between 4 or 5 payments.
Yeah,
Isn't that what he said?
yeah.
I can't remember.
Chris,
Is that
my
what he
first
said?
payment was 2,200.
Okay.
450 that I've transferred 4 months after, 6 months that we've transferred in December.
No. I'm just trying. When he said it,
Mm-hmm.
he said the initial payment was 2,000 to save the date, and then the balance was split between 4 or 5 payments. I'm not defending him.
No.
I'm just going by what he said.
The agreement was you can transfer as much as you want to. What we would need as an initial deposit is a minimum of 2,000.
Okay.
If I want to pay
So a
everything,
minimum of 2,000.
if I want to pay
Okay.
everything on the go, I can pay everything on the go.
Sure.
I
No.
will agree a budget with you 15,000. I
I'm
will
not-
transfer you
I'm
15,000.
not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to clarify on based on what he said. Yeah.
I'll take a step back and I'll say, okay, let's assume it was lost in translation. Then he needs to be clear, because when he comes publicly to make such a statement, he needs to be very, really careful with what he's saying. Because when he's saying that only deposits were paid, and this was his words, only deposits were paid for those who will get married in 2027, 2028. That is not true.
Okay, I'm not sure that's what he said, but I will clarify as well. I'll
Listen
check
to
as
the
well. No,
podcast.
I've listened to it
I
2 or 3
did-
times. I know he
I
said,
did more than you.
I know he said
can
that for
tell
2028, that the initial deposit was
Yes.
2,000. And Charlie said himself that he paid 2,000
Abby
and then
paid
had the
5,000.
balance. Then the
Yeah.
balance was split 4 payments.
Yeah.
Either way, it makes no difference.
Yeah.
Because obviously it doesn't change the fact of how much money's out there.
I've got
Does
here the
it?
cherry on top.
Oh,
If you want to. This is a contract, but it's in Tenerife. If you read point 5, if you will-
liability.
Yes.
Am I reading this out or am I
If you
reading
want
it to
to.
myself?
Chris, as you want to.
Have I got the right glasses on? That's the question.
You want mine?
No, you're all right. Mine are bigger. The wedding and event agency, Weddings in Tenerife by Claire Lopez, is liable to the client for legal or contractual liability only for willful misconduct or gross negligence. This limit does not apply to direct personal injury or property damage and the culpable violation of essential contractual obligations. In any case, liability for the event service, wedding and events by Claire Lopez, Weddings in Tenerife, by Claire Lopez, is limited to typical foreseeable damage. That's point 5.
Yes. So basically, what do you understand on that point?
That they're liable for legal or contractual liability.
So when I sign a contract with you as a service provider
Mm-hmm.
and you breach a contract, who is going to be liable?
They are.
Thank you.
But they are liable, and they've agreed that.
Yeah, that's what makes me wonder why you don't think you will get your money back, because I think that this whole process should see everybody.
I just want to clarify.
But
because
they've
this is
said
all-
they're liable.
Sorry?
They've said they're liable.
Yes, they said they're liable. I just want to state that this was sent as a contract, so it's black and white.
That's part of it, yeah.
That's why I've said I did my homework. I brought all the legalities into the table. Again, when it comes to the law, it's very, I'm going to say it's a very gray area. It will be up to the understanding of each lawyer, each judge facing each same situations. They may have a different ruling. We all know that.
Although the process is pretty standard.
The process itself may be really
It's pretty
standard, but the
standard, yeah.
decision sometimes it will vary from judge to judge. We're going to go back to the beginning. If the judge will see that there's the paper trail, and if they will consider that the company is solvent, how will they fix the situation?
Okay. Well, obviously, a large part will be on chargeback. He said there was a lot of assets, and that's where they'll start. I mean, I don't know, because I've not been involved in one. I know, I openly admitted that I know part of the process because I was close to applying for it during COVID, as a lot of people were. But actually, the process of distribution of assets and who sells them and as you say, that will come down to the judge.
Okay. So there's, altogether, imagine, if you can for a second, to put yourselves on our shoes, dealing with all this, it's not easy.
No, not at all.
No,
and the fact
and
that
I
you haven't got
don't-
your wedding.
I don't think anyone.
Nothing.
I don't think anybody thinks it's
No.
easy, though, Sergio.
I think, and I've told you this over the phone, I don't think that you understand what it is. Because, to be quite honest, if I wouldn't be living this situation, I couldn't tell no one, oh, I do understand how you're feeling.
No.
I don't.
No, but we've said that. I've said I don't understand
You
how
don't?
you feel. I've said I understand the financial side because I've got a business and I understand a bit about finance side. I don't have a clue how you feel. And I wouldn't ever claim to have a clue how you feel. And I haven't claimed to have
Chris,
a clue how you feel.
there was something, and this is what I've said in the beginning. That's how I felt. It was a little bit patronizing and condescending here on the podcast. And even on the last podcast, the other co-host that was here, he was mentioning, why did the couples didn't get an insurance? Okay, now it's very easy to say, why didn't you get an insurance? I'll go back to your situation. If your accountant would run away with your money tomorrow, if someone would tell you, why didn't you get an insurance?
Now, we spoke about wedding insurance. Did you
That's
did you
what
see
he
that?
said.
About
I
some of the
saw-
stuff not
That's
being
what he
paid
just
out?
said. That
I
Steve
saw-
said,
I
"Oh,
saw
why wouldn't you
everything.
get?"
No. But about the fact that also some of the wedding insurance companies aren't
Yeah.
paying out.
Okay, but
crazy.
Chris, right now, this is really easy to point out why didn't you get an insurance?
Well,
I
I
think
don't-
that's the kind of angle I know from a personal point of view, saying the fact that you normally only get married once, maybe twice, I don't know, but it's not a lot of times, and it's not maybe the first thing that you would think of. I think we didn't accuse anyone of being ridiculous for not getting wedding
no,
insurance.
but it comes across.
I didn't even know there was wedding insurance.
And
But at the same time, I'm not sure I can get insurance against my accountant. I mean, that's obviously a
But it's
different
this
situation.
is just an example of how ridiculous.
But I run events,
Do you have an insurance?
and we have to get an insurance for it.
You're obliged
Particularly-
to by law.
No, you're not. Obviously, you are public liability, but insurance against the event, no, you're not obliged. And there are different levels of insurance for the different size of gig. That aside, which is, I didn't even know there was a wedding insurance, and it was only from talking to one of the other celebrants who explained that there was a couple of the brides or a couple of the couples, who had got wedding insurance in the UK, and the companies were refusing to pay out. That's why that situation arose, because they're in their small print, they won't pay out if you've paid stuff via a wedding planner. They'll only pay out if you personally have paid the venue yourself. You personally have paid the DJ yourself. You personally have paid the transport or accommodation or whatever. And that was the bit that we were questioning as to why. How can the companies do that? Because that's just ridiculous, isn't it?
But this is what I was saying. To those who heard to the podcast, came across as like, without sounding awful,
I
but
can't
like,
take it how
why,
people
why
take
didn't those?
it.
Yeah, why didn't those idiots get a wedding insurance? Like,
No, we
sorry,
weren't saying
it came
that.
across a little bit
But
condescending.
we didn't say that, though.
I know you didn't. But for me, at home, listening to what was said here, that's how it came across.
Didn't
Yeah.
say
And
that.
on the same
Well, I
token,
apologise if it came across that way, but that was not the
and
intention.
I'm telling you, this is my
And
opinion.
that's not-
On the same token, it was said here, all the brides they're on TikTok and Facebook, and they're all over social media.
I didn't say that either.
You've mentioned that all the brides are all over
No, I
TikTok.
didn't. What I said was some of the younger ones, because obviously as you speak, there's a different age group. You know, you just said you're 50 compared to some of
Yes.
them who are 22.
My fiance is on Facebook. She's 36.
No, but she's not necessarily doing reels about the situation. Whereas some of the younger brides, we were asked, why didn't you get the brides on before Weddings in Tenerife? And what I said was that the brides are already putting their story out there. People are already seeing their story on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook Reels, and also UK
Chris,
Press. Hang on a second. We said we'd get people in when we had more information. Weddings in Tenerife got in touch with us. We convinced them to come on. So that's why we took them first. Because their story wasn't out there and people wanted to hear them. Particularly the people involved wanted to hear something. Whether or not they liked what they said is a completely different situation. What I didn't say was all the brides are on TikTok. What I said was some of the younger ones, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
I will ask a question then in a different way, because Jenny, you asked me a good couple of questions to which I don't have an answer. I will urge you then, invite some of the brides to come over, so they will give you the emotional side, because we men, and I say this quite often, we are
We have done
cavemen.
this morning.
Yeah, we've had
We've
one
had Julie on.
bride.
You can have Zoe here if you
We've
want
had
next
Julia.
time. If you want to hear, if you want to listen to Zoe,
Our
I'm
next
100%
stage
sure-
is going to be to put the questions to Weddings in Tenerife that you guys have raised. Not just you, but also Charlie, also Julie, and questions on behalf of the people. That's our next stage. And let's see if we get a reply. And we will take it from there. Is that fair?
I go on. I feel like you need go on because this is your platform to say. So I don't want
No.
to interrupt you.
Well, we want you to
Yeah,
wrap it. We
well,
want you
yeah.
to wrap it up because we
No.
kind of need to wrap up. So you wrap
Quite
up.
frankly, I don't think there's nothing to wrap up.
No,
My opinion is.
I mean wrap up the podcast. I don't mean the whole
I
situation.
think I wish.
the power
wish-
in your hands.
I wish if I had that power. Sometimes I say, God, give me patience, don't give me strength. I don't think that. I think that the money's gone. Period. I don't think that I'm going to get any money back.
How will you kind of draw a line under this and move on? How will you go from here?
You don't, Jenny. You don't.
I just feel like there needs to be a way because it's awful and it's a horrible
Do
situation.
you mean closure?
Closure in regards, obviously, hopefully one day you'll have your dream wedding, and I hope that for you and Zoe more than anything. I know speaking to Julie this morning, it seems almost like she's trying to take a positive out of this and going, do you know what, we're going to have our day and it's going to be great. I'm not taking away the fact that what's happened is horrendous. I just feel like, and maybe I'm wrong in saying this, if you don't find a way to move on, it's just going to eat at you. And if you can find a way to live with what's happened and just carry on and forget about it, I just feel like that your world would be a lot more peaceful.
Jenny, I'll put things this way. You can't change the past.
Yeah,
What's done is done. You can change the future.
exactly. Yeah.
So when you will ask me, what can you do about this? I cannot do anything.
Okay.
I'm a victim. And this is what upset me the most. And I sent you this on the email. The way that it was portrayed, the way that the interview was conducted with Lars, the only thing that Lars didn't say it was that Claire and him, they were the victims, and the brides and grooms, they are the perpetrators. No. We, and I'm saying 45 couples, we're talking about 90 men and women, men and men, women and women, whatever, it's irrelevant. We are the ones who had our dreams, our expectations, that we deposit in someone completely shattered. And behind us, there are all our relatives that are due to come to our weddings. So we're talking here about, I'm going to
Hundreds of
say
people.
easily 1,000 people,
Yeah.
give and take.
Yeah.
How do you put that into context? How can you put a stone on top of it and say, well, you know what, this is done? It doesn't work that way. You live by, you live one day, tomorrow it's going to be a better day, you
Yeah.
start focusing on other things, but that situation will always be there.
Still
I
there.
suppose that's what I was aiming at. The day by day, every day, maybe it get a bit easier.
I always-
I really hope it does
I always
for you
heard
guys.
one thing. In life, there's only two things that we cannot run away from. death and taxes.
Yeah, I've heard this a lot myself. Yeah.
Sergio, can I shake you by hand and say thank you for coming in?
Yeah,
Seriously.
Thank you for having me.
appreciate it.
For the two of you, thank you for this opportunity.
No problem. You're welcome back anytime.
If you need me again, if you need a new detective, just get in touch with me.
I think like the National Police or the Guardia Civil might be in touch after this.
I
kind
can
of
tell you,
detective.
I can tell you there will be some more developments about this one.
Of course. We don't expect this to... Listen, it's not something we expect to be continually covering for the next 4 weeks, but at the same time, there is going to be stages, obviously, of process where we have to drop back into it. And obviously, if you want to come back in, you're more than welcome.
When you want to, you got my phone number.
We want to thank you for listening. Thank you to the couples for getting involved. Anyone that does have any comments or things that they would like to leave and say, do so. And we will happily read those and listen to what everybody's got to say. We will see you again on the next episode of the Tenerife Pod.